Welcome to Baji, the big sister you never had. Here, we dive deep into the art of navigating life as the eldest daughter through stories, lessons, and heartfelt sisterly advice. We'll challenge tradition, embrace our power, and step into the woman we were always meant to be, all while staying grounded in our faith. And I'm your host, Arusa Malik. Hello, and welcome back to my beautiful listeners. Today, I want to talk about a topic that has been heard, discussed, and emphasized in so many South Asian households: marriage. Not just as a milestone, but almost as a destination point. Something that was spoken about so often that for many of us, it ended up becoming something we started dreaming about before we even fully understood what it meant. And that's where it all begins. As young girls, all of us grew up dreaming about our wedding day. The dress, the ring, the moment that was supposed to change our lives. And in South Asian households, that dream wasn't random. It was planted. Marriage was spoken about pretty early on, often, and almost like it was a guarantee. Like it would happen at a certain age, it would come at a certain time, and in a certain way. But, for many of us, life doesn't actually unfold like that. We grow up, we evolve, and we start having dreams of our own. And suddenly, the timeline we were promised doesn't really reflect our reality anymore. And maybe you're listening to this thinking, yeah, that's exactly how I feel. But where do I even begin? Like, where does life even go from here? And if you're really being honest with yourself, you might even be questioning, was everything I taught even true, right? Because it feels like everyone else is moving forward and you're just standing still. And the picture that was painted for you, it begins to fade. The colors don't look the same anymore. They start bleeding into something unfamiliar. And you're just standing there looking at a life that you don't fully recognize yet. And let me tell you, I remember that feeling so clearly because that's when something shifted for me. I realized I had been dreaming about a moment, not a whole life. And that's when I stopped dreaming about a wedding. And I started dreaming about becoming a better version of myself. But even that sounds nice in theory, right? Because then the real question becomes, what does a better version even look like? And that's where the real work begins. You have to start asking yourself questions that you may have never asked before. Who are you outside of what you were told you should be? What do you actually enjoy? What do you value? And what kind of life do you really want to live? Not the one you were conditioned to wait for. And once you start asking yourself those questions, things begin to shift. Slowly, but they do. You end up pouring into yourself. You pour into your career, your passions, your healing, and your faith. You start choosing growth even when it feels uncomfortable, even when it feels lonely, and even when it doesn't make sense to anyone else. And I want you to know this. You have the power to make decisions that make your life feel fulfilled, to chase your dreams, and to experience life fully before you choose to say forever to a lifelong commitment. Because the moment you start choosing yourself, especially in a culture where your life has always been spoken for, people will not always understand it. They will question you and they will misunderstand you. Sometimes they even distance themselves from you. And I know that part can truly hurt. But what they don't see is that you're not lost. You're becoming. And maybe this is the part no one really prepares you for, right? Like you thought that life would be handed to you in a certain way. There is going to be a timeline, a structure, something that just simply made sense. But reality didn't follow that plan. And now you're here, you're trying to rebuild a life you never thought you had to build at all, right? And yeah, that feeling is very overwhelming. It can feel unfair and it can feel like you're behind. But listen to me when I say this. You're not starting over. You're starting from awareness. And that changes everything. Because now, for the first time, you get to choose, not based on pressure, not based on timelines, and not based on expectations, but based on who you actually are. So if you're sitting there thinking, I don't even know where to begin, let me tell you this. I want you to start small. I want you to ask yourself, what feels right for me right now? What brings me peace? What is bringing me closer to the life I actually want, not the one I was waiting for? Because building your life this way, intentionally, it's not a setback. It's a kind of freedom most people never even reach. When you're building yourself, your own life, your identity, that's the real work. So I didn't stop dreaming. I just stopped waiting for a life that was never guaranteed. And I started building one that finally feels like mine, on my own terms, in my time. And that is more powerful than any timeline I was ever promised. Thank you for tuning in to Baji, the big sister you never had. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share, subscribe, and leave a review. It helps us grow this sisterhood. And remember, you're never alone on this journey. Till then, keep thriving, stay authentic, and I'll catch you in the next episode.